Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It is time for an extra little bonus podcast. We're going to be talking about only murders in the building, and we're going to see if we can't figure this out before they drop the last episode tonight. And the one who's going, oh, I can't stand the name. What do you mean it wasn't Uma? You know that woman did it. What's up tonight, fandom? How you doing?
Yo, what is good, everyone? Here, just talking about the only murders in the building, making sure every theory DJ guy's gonna get shot down, including the very first one. It wasn't
Oh, Uma did it. I'm telling you, every time they show that person when Ben went to fall, there's somebody in a black jacket with or a black top with skinny arms. And I'm telling you right now, the biggest thing that they could do and actually shock us with is what if it's Oliver Putnam that did it? He knew that freaking Ben was killing his show. I mean, he's a professional. He knows what's what. He's been in the game forever and a day. He knows what's going to make it and what's not, and he knew that Ben was not the business, and it was actually him that was on his last shot, not Donna, not Cliff, not worried about anybody else. This was his time to get out of Broadway jail, and he couldn't have it be a failure. And with Ben, it was going to be a failure. What if the man himself, Oliver Putnam, did it?
Nah, the man had freaking Charles in his damn play. We don't know how Charles can act. He can allow this man to continue in his damn play. He ain't gonna kill her, so he would have killed Charles.
Oh, he can't take his best friend out. I mean, yeah, can't have that. Yeah, that was absolutely wild. What's up, Celebrity Bikini? I see you out there. He says he's going with Tobert. Oh, Tobert did it?
I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Tobert now.
Man, I think Tobert's the number one guess that most people out there have. When I first, like I said, you saw me when we first started talking about this. He was not even 2 seconds on the screen, and I was like, "Oh, there's the murderer." So I don't know what it was about Tobert, but I think he might be the biggest Norwegian red herring of it all because everybody thinks Tobert's got something. He's shady as hell. Something's up with this man. We're gonna talk about it, but I don't know. Is Tobert? Is there first and foremost? Is there more than one murder?
I believe it's more than one murder. Ever since that, I forgot which episode it was. When you said it could have been three of them, and literally the next episode, you see the three babies, one with the curly hair, and then we thought that it was gonna be Charles's, ex fiance. Like I was like, maybe there is three murderers, because even in the first season it was just one murderer. Second season it was two murderers, and now here we are, third season, three murderers, and I'm
Interesting.
like. Okay, if you're gonna be three murderers, please and not be one of them be a woman. They already said in the beginning of this season. Come on now, there's gonna be a woman murderer every single time. I'm telling you, I'm calling it now. If there's a third woman murder this season 4, automatically every male suspect just throw it out the window. It's a woman. It's a woman. Damn it.
It's always a woman who did it. The women are the killers out there. Oh, I heard poison is a woman's weapon. Oh man. He said, I laid out my evidence. It's too much to type out again. It's absolutely. And he was shady as hell, but man, like I said, I think he's the ultimate Norwegian red herring. It's just too many people think it, so that just tells me it can't be. What nobody thinks is that it's Oliver. That would be just the sickest out of left field in the just ever. It was absolutely Oliver. Could not have this man ruining his play. But I don't know. He was knocking on the door saying everybody gets jitters, but who knows? Maybe he's the one that put the cookie in there and he knew that he was going to fall out and that it would be okay in the end of it. Absolutely wild. So, who is your number before we even get started? Like right out the gate, who's your number one? Who's your top three? You think it's three murderers? Who would be the three you put in there?
Well, one I kind of did put in Tobert. Then at one point I was putting in Donna, but then I'm like, wait a minute. They're trying to make us think it's Donna. So it's Dickie, and then there's Clifford.
Tobert, Dickie, and Clifford. Tobert, Dickie, and Clifford. That would be sick. And we got Dickie. Yeah, we're going to talk about a few things, but yeah, I mean, what if they're more connected than we even think? I mean, what if we have more brothers that are brothers than we even heard about or knew about? I mean, it could be insane. We
But
have
then
no.
again, it's like with the first murderer, we never expected Charles's ex to be in a relationship, with the first victim. The second season, that murder, the two of them, we didn't expect it to be them. And now with this third season, it's like whoever the murderer is like the least person we expect. So
Absolutely.
even if it's going to be 3 murderers or even like 2, one of them we could possibly suspect, but then the other one, it's like, what the hell? It was you?
That came out of left field. Or again, it could have been like I laid out last episode, and the 3 murderers could just be kind of not really actual murderers, but just in the abstract sense. And the 3 murderers are 3 podcasters, and it's like that lady said, that was Mabel's dream. You gave birth to a podcast. So basically, the 3 of them are just making this up and pushing bounds and trying to make it look like what it is when it isn't. And they're actually just making it look there was no murder. It was an accident. But these 3 made it look like a murder for a podcast, just so they had more material for the podcast. That could absolutely be a scenario that breaks out. I could see it happening. 100%. There was no murder. It was all just an accident. Tober, I'm what I do feel almost 100%. It's got to be 100%. Why else would Tobert tell us about that elephant story if he didn't see it happen and do nothing to help or stop it?
But would you go to jail if you accidentally killed someone and you flee the scene?
Probably. I mean, yeah, you're probably supposed to tell somebody. But I mean, if you accidentally kill somebody, yeah, I mean, you still need to tell somebody about it. Because if you flee the scene, it makes it look like it wasn't an accident, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, Jake says, I expected his girlfriend to be the murderer season 2. I was baffled until the end. And I'm baffled until the end this season. This so far, I mean, if they nail it and bring it home, which, I mean, how can they not? I think this is going to be my favorite season. It was 1 and 2, but I think now it's going to be 3, 1, 2, because this season has just been amazing. It had, the 2 episodes that were kind of a lull, but they did give us some crucial pieces in there. And yeah, I think this is just going to bring it home and be the best one, the best season yet. And don't they just have to have a season 4 after all this? I mean, it'd be a hell of a crescendo to end on, but don't you just need a little more?
Yep. But at the same time, it's like the whole writer strike. So if they do, it's going to be delayed a bit.
Yeah, it'll be pushed off and won't be coming right around the corner. Like this one got in just before that, so we got lucky with that. But yeah, the writer strike would definitely crush it. But man, we need another season because this is just too good. The chemistry between these characters is just too amazing. Oh, unbelievable. But yeah, when I was going back, I just did a binge rewatch this morning and last night this morning. And I don't know, man, it did not give me a whole lot more, but there were a few extra things that I kind of noticed and nailed down and just wanted to talk about it. But like when Ben was falling down the shaft, when we see it the first couple times, there's no hanky anywhere in sight. So how did that end up in his hand? It wasn't until like episode 9 when we see him falling that they're talking about, oh, whoever the hanky, and then all of a sudden they show a hanky in his hand, but it wasn't in his hand any of the other times that he was falling. So is that another Norwegian red herring?
But the hanky was there in the Uma episode, though, when she like looked at the body and boom, the hanky was there, and she's like, "Oh, we gotta take the hanky."
That's what I'm saying. How did it get there? Because it wasn't there. It wasn't in his hand when he was falling. It wasn't floating through the air. It ended up in his hand all of a sudden. Like, why?
No, that's a retcon then.
You know what I mean? Something's crazy about that. Because yeah, and it's not just one; it's multiple times we see him falling, which it could be just the same, scene. They're just replaying him falling. But again, there's no hanky anywhere, and then all of a sudden there is one, and Uma has it and is selling it. So that's just weird. I am as convinced on Tubbard as I was about the cookie. I nailed the mirror, but you got me there with the cookie. That cookie was sick. That was a great call. That was one of the best ones. I can't believe it. I thought it was Lucy and it was cookies. But as soon as he said cookies, I was with him immediately because I was like, that just made too much sense for the show. And the Lucy one was too dark. This is a comedy. But yeah, when Ben came back to the party, he said he had his stomach pumped and all kinds of things came out. And the doctor said it may have been something he ate. So right then, I mean, somebody definitely poisoned him. So there was poison in there. And when the detective saved Charles and Mabel, he said Greg was running out of the Arconia 2 minutes after Ben's death. So if the detectives know it, again, first of all, when Ben came back to the party and he had his stomach pumped, I mean, are we 100% sure somebody definitely tried to poison him at the Arconia now, right? I mean, there's no question about that.
Most definitely.
I mean, they pretty much solidified that. So somebody 100% did try to kill him. So there has to be multiple murderers, or not. I mean, obviously, maybe one person actually murdered him, but there were multiple attempts at his life. So I think the three is definitely going to come into play, all the way down until where, like, the first episode when Loretta went to her first musical, the one that made her fall in love. There were three people with balloons. I mean, the play was called No Strings, and there's three people with balloons on stage. Like, there's just three everywhere in here. So there has to be three murders, or at least people in on the murders, tried to murder.
Or they just like nailing it on the head with us, like, hey, it's the third season, threes everywhere.
It could be. But then, yeah, when that detective saved Charles, he said 2 minutes after Ben's death, that guy ran out. So are we really to believe that none of these detectives actually looked at a real watch and they were going off of dead Ben's broken watch when they called the time of his death? Like, I'm just not buying that.
Yeah, that's very weird.
That whole time thing is messed up. Not to mention the whole fact of him saying that Ben set his watch 20 minutes fast, so he'd always be 20 minutes late. That doesn't even add up. Like, are you kidding me? If he set his watch 20 minutes early, he wouldn't be late. You know what I mean? Like, everything about that is crazy. I don't
I thought
know.
it was trying him being fashionably late.
Right, but he said he set his watch 20 minutes up, so he would be late. So I don't get it. You'd have to set your watch 20 minutes back to be late.
No, but that's even more late. That's what he tried to do.
I don't know.
To be even more of an asshole. It's like, if I'm supposed to be there at 10 o'clock and then he put it to like 9:40.
You put your watch at 10:20?
So then it's like,
you'd be early.
No, because then he's like, okay, now no, it's like 9:40. So when it's 10 o'clock, then I'll leave my house.
Maybe, yeah, I guess. I don't know. That whole thing was just wild. Like that.
Then at that point, I'll be like, what? Almost an hour late.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole time thing is just wonky as hell.
That explains why I'm always like one of the few people that always like arrive in my friend group to places. Everyone's setting their watches 20 minutes early. I'm on time.
Oh, believe people tell me an hour early just to get me on time. I'm the worst. I am the worst. Oh man, but yeah, that was just wild. I don't know, the time thing is crazy to me. I don't like how, I don't think the time has anything. That's just more Norwegian red herrings to me. And in the shot they keep replaying of the actual death, we see the person standing there, like I said, was wearing black sleeves and had skinny arms. So Uma was in some black sleeves that night, and she's definitely got some skinny arms.
So does Dickie.
It could be Uma. So did Dickie, absolutely. And Dickie's whole thing was too freaked out about Ben coming back, so he went and left and got drunk and went looking for horrors. Like, I don't know, that whole thing just seems a little bit off too. And who is Dickie always talking to on the phone? That man has always got his face into the phone. What is he looking at?
He's probably talking to the dude from State Farm.
Nah, you think it's cousin Moses Morris he's in contact with?
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, that's insane. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, they keep showing like whoever was there that night was wearing like a nice black top and had skinny arms with black sleeves. And Oliver's jacket looked very similar to the one worn that we see in that shot. So I don't know. That night, Howard said, "It's not your fault, Oliver." Maybe at the Arconia, it actually was. So that would be wild.
Damn, you really want to make Oliver the killer?
Well, I mean, you think about it. It was yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It could that would be the biggest twist.
I would like the last season to be like one of the three be the murderers, and then it's just figuring out why the person did it.
That'd be pretty sick. Or the three of them actually did murder just so they could keep the podcast going. And the last scene we see is the Gerald doors closing on them, and that's how it just fades to black. That'd be amazing. Oh, that was just them imagining someone pushing him. Maybe that's why that would make a good reason why the hanky wasn't there. So maybe it was. If there is no camera, how else would they determine the time of death? Well, I mean, they were there. There was I mean, the time of death, just basically talking to like Uma when she saw them there and asking Charles and Mabel and them. Mabel should have already known, because that's one of the questions that the police would ask them is what time was it when you guys were leaving? So, I mean, that's how they would have got the time of death, because obviously it happened right before then. So, I don't know. Yeah, nothing about that. The whole time thing is wonky as hell. It just makes zero sense to me. But yeah, Oliver also did something weird that night, that Ben returned. He like touched Ben's face saying, "You're so warm." Like, was Oliver involved in the death? I'm thinking he had to be. Like, is that why he was so vehemently like against Mabel questioning the cast? Because he was afraid sooner or later it was going to come back on him?
Maybe.
Oh, that would be just crazy if Oliver was the one who did it. That would be absolutely wild. But the night Oliver came up with the idea to make his play a musical, Mabel informed him that the police have the wrong guy and she thinks it was someone in his play that killed Ben. Oliver turned to the camera and kind of grunted, like, and then hit the button on his new heart monitor. So I don't know, man. Maybe it was Oliver who killed Ben. That would just be crazy, though. That would be
I
the
can't
biggest.
believe you just invited me onto this stream to be like Oliver was the one who did it. Like, come on, man. You know he's one of our favorite of the trio.
Oh, it was a Putnam all along. Like, why would he care if it was a cast member? Like, he's rewriting the play anyway. Like, he could just recast anybody if one of them was the murderer. So why was he so worried about it? Because he was worried it was going to come back on him. That's why.
Nah.
That would be so wild. Nailed it. It's Oliver. Putnam did it. But we've heard a lot about Cousin Morris this season and have yet to meet him. And Howard says that that's who he calls when things go wrong. He helps him. So he came in and apologized to Oliver for lying to him. He didn't call his therapist when Charles went into the White Room. He called his cousin Howard. So now that we know that Howard's a liar, what if he lied about the office being locked that night that he went for the broom? And what if it was he who got an early copy of Maxine's review from Cousin Moses and did what any good director's assistant would do and off the problem before it came up? Or was it just a long-winded ad for State Farm all along?
No, also could be Howard's boyfriend who could have did it. He was pretty much the, what is it? He's not the lead. He's the, what is it, understudy?
Jake is yelling at the TV. None of the main characters killed anybody, damn it. I'm telling you, it was Putnam.
He was the understudy, so that is one of the reasons for him to do it.
So yeah, I mean, but like we saw, I mean, he's up here taking frontman cocktails because he's so nervous because he doesn't want to. He just doesn't want. He would just turn it all down, but he doesn't want to break Howard's heart.
Or is it guilty conscience?
Could be. Maybe he's the one lying about all that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, could be. I mean, that's a good motive. He wants his big break, and this is the way to do it. And he knows Ben's not that good, so off him, he jumps into the lead role and he becomes famous. But yeah, I don't know. That'd be crazy. When Howard confessed to killing Ben, Mabel said that he may have been lying to cover for Jonathan. What if he was lying to cover for himself and Cousin Morris? Like, Howard's a grown-ass man. Do we really believe that he actually thought he saw a ghost that night?
Nah.
So, I mean, like I said, he already admitted that he's a liar. So, I mean, he could be lying about all of it and trying to just cover up for him and Cousin Morris taking him out.
His name is just superstition type thing.
You think that really was just superstition? But I mean, come on, you're not really believing that you called out to a ghost and he talked back to you. Like, come on, stop it. Like, that was just ridiculous. While they were checking the theater for clues, Oliver heard a noise and said, "I also know Krav Maga," before climbing the stairs. How did he knew that Howard said that if he wasn't in the theater already, like spying on people getting ready to murder? I'm telling you, Oliver is the murderer. That makes no sense. God. Why did he say, "I also know Krav Maga"? The only other time we ever heard that is when Howard said that. So maybe that wasn't, I mean, they made it look like that it was Jerry Blau that did that, but maybe it wasn't. What if that was Oliver running around in those clothes that did that?
Nah, one, it's a joke. Two, if you heard him when Howard was recounting the story and he was mentioning it, He's like, hey, I can say it too. Maybe that's gonna like spook it away.
Howard wasn't saying it when he recounted the story. Howard said it when he was up there, when he thought he was in the theater by himself talking to ghosts. He heard a noise and he just yelled out, "I know Krav Maga." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Are you the ghost?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." Like, yeah. So I don't know. That's crazy. So why would Oliver come in saying, "I also know Krav Maga," unless he heard Howard say that? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Just saying. Oliver might be our killer. Lots of people think they see ghosts. Some people believe in astrology. Yeah, of course. But again, explain why Oliver said, "I also know Krav Maga," unless he was there to hear Howard say it in the first place. So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of wild. When getting ready to record, Mabel commented how nice Taubert's equipment was. He replied, "Yeah, Cinda Canning's not the only one with nice equipment." Why would he even put her name in his mouth? Like, what does he even know about her, and why would he be using her in comparisons? So is Taubert secretly working with Cinda?
I'm surprised we only got her like for like one episode. Like I thought
Yeah,
we was gonna get like multiple episodes with her teaming up with Mabel. But no, just that one. And then it was gonna just be that one episode she was gonna do by herself, and then boom, back with the gang.
feel it. Could be. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought we'd see a little more Cinda too, but maybe that's just it. Maybe they just gave her that brief little cameo, and then of course she's gonna. I definitely think we're gonna see her again in the finale, one way or another. Either her trying to like steal the spotlight for her podcast, or it's gonna be. It's
I
one way.
still think that Tobert is working with her.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, why would he even put her name in his mouth? Like, why would he say anything about Cinda Canning unless he had something to do with her? Like, that just made no sense to me. That's crazy. Cinda knew about what was going on. Somebody was spying for her. Yeah, exactly. Like when she was like, "Oh yeah, the Ben murder. Oh my gosh." So yeah, she definitely had an inside mole, and that inside mole is 100% Taubert. And that's the whole sus. Like he's sus about something. That's what it is. We're gonna find out that he's been working for Cinda Canning this whole time, trying to get her back on track with the murder podcast. And that was her end. She's like, "Oh, you're so lucky. These things just fall in your lap." Where she actually had to put a mole in there to get her news. So 100%, I think Taubert's working for Cinda, and that's what his is. I don't think he murdered anybody. I think that his whole his weird thing is that he's working for Cinda Canning. But yeah, when Taubert met Theo and realized who he was, he said he was a big fan and that Theo was an interesting guy. Like he said, he picked up certain things and it kind of muffled off or whatever when he was listening to the podcast. It was like a fan. I was like, of what? Like. Because Theo was basically a murderous, kidnapping, grave robbing daddy's boy in the first 2 seasons. So, which part of that was he a fan of, and what evil plans does he have in store for Mabel?
I forgot, who did Theo kill?
What's that?
Who did Theo kill?
Mabel's best friend on the roof. He accidentally.
That was an accident.
Yeah. Murderous. Anyway. Like I
Oh
said.
my gosh, he's saying that he's like his best fan because that's what he did to Ben, because he pushed him. He pushed the Maple's friend off a roof, and he pushed Ben like into the elevator shaft.
Feel the tie-in. And then Theo got close with Mabel afterwards. He kidnaps this girl and then gets close with her. Interesting. So now all of a sudden Taubert's getting close and interjecting himself in with the murders. It's going back to Taubert. A fan of watching people fall. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, I don't know. What if Taubert is bad and he's going to do something evil to Mabel, and that's how we're going to end the season is with her in peril, Taubert threatening her life. Oh, that would be wild. Something I meant to bring up during the Sitz Probe episode breakdown. I remember like 3 different times I meant to bring it up, but we kept talking about other stuff, and then I just ended up zipping past it. But who is Casey? Like when everybody got the text that Greg got released and everybody was looking at their phone, Cliff got a text from Casey saying that Greg creepy guy was released. Like that's a name I don't remember ever hearing before. So why would they specifically show us that Cliff got a text from somebody named Casey? Who the hell is Casey and why are they a murderer?
Who's Greg?
Cliff. Oh, Greg's the one who got put in jail for Ben's murder in the first place. He was the crazy stalker guy. Remember, he kidnapped Mabel and Charles. So he's the one that they put in jail for Ben's murder. But then Mabel put out enough clues that said he's not the murderer, so he got released. And when they were all in Sitzprobe and everybody's phone started blowing up, and they were seeing that guy got released, which showed Cliff on his phone, and it specifically showed the name Casey, and he got a text from Casey saying that Greg guy, creepy guy, got released. He wasn't the one who killed Ben. So who is Casey, and why would they specifically show us that text?
Could just be an extra.
That's just wild. I mean, this show doesn't really just throw things in. I mean, it'll throw in red herrings, but it doesn't just put things in for nothing. And why would they show us that name specifically and Cliff specifically getting that text from that person? That has to mean something.
You know what dawned on me? We never got see an interview from Kim.
Kimber?
Yeah.
I don't think Kimber is. I mean, they've done that
That's
before.
weird though. Like, why didn't we get to see at least like anything like her interview at all? That's weird.
Well, it's a half-hour show. There's lots that we haven't seen.
Still, she was one of the suspects though.
Yeah, I mean, did we see it? We didn't see a Tobert interview. And Tobert wasn't even there. So when Detective Williams came busting in saying NYPD, motherfucker, she said, somebody in this room is a killer, which annoyed me right out of the gate because Uma wasn't in that room. But also, Tobert wasn't in that room. So that kind of almost gets both of them off as not being the killers. Maxine was in that room, though, and that's who Charles pointed to when he got done with the song. Is Maxine the killer? Maxine the critic?
Nah, I doubt it.
I don't either, but that'd be kind of funny. My last chat's comment. You don't like my Kevin Spacey comment? Oh, I don't think so. It's not. So who do we think? What's that?
KT. It took a while for her to appear.
You think it might be KT?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she stole his mangoes. I mean, the only thing he was allowed to eat. She was getting yelled at by him a lot. She yelled at him a lot. Like they didn't have the greatest. They didn't have the greatest relationship, but it didn't seem like she had a great relationship with anybody.
Also, did she have the early review in her room?
We don't know.
How did Donna get it?
Because she's rich and she paid off the editor because she's got contacts.
No, that too.
And of the show, and that's the big thing, the show painted it as it was Donna who did all that. And like I said in the last episode, I think they got all that right. That could have been exactly what happened. Only it wasn't Donna that did that. It was Cliff. Cliff is the one that got the review early somehow. Cliff read it. Cliff realized it was going to be panned. That's why he was freaking out before the show because he couldn't have this thing fail. He knows it's his first show and he can't have it be a dud. So he was freaking out, and he's the one that poisoned the cookies. Who's the one that brought the cookie? It was him. He's the one that gave it to Ben and put it all up in his face and was he was there at that first reading. He knows Ben's not supposed to have cookies, and he's all putting it up in his face, mushing it basically right up under his nose. He's eat this poisonous cookie because I can't have you ruining my life. So that's what I think the show is telling us. And it seems so obvious, but I haven't heard that many people talking about it. Everybody just thinks it's Donna. But I think basically Donna knows that Cliff killed her. I think that we're going to see in this next, I think in the finale, we're going to get a lot longer conversation between Donna and Loretta in the bathroom. And Donna knows that Cliff killed him and she can't have her baby going to jail. So she's basically made a deal with Loretta to take the rap for it. She's like, you take the rap. Because remember, Cliff wasn't even getting arrested. He was walking off. He wasn't getting taken off in handcuffs. So she saw that, and she's just like, let me just take this situation. I can't have an innocent man go down for something I did. And I mean, that you could tell that was acting. She wasn't the one who did all that. But I poisoned the drink. Well, the drink wasn't even poisoned. It was the cookie supposedly that was poisoned. Or so we think. So yeah, I think Donna and Loretta had a longer conversation in the bathroom. Donna talked Loretta into taking the rap for Cliff because she can't have her son go down. She's like, I'll give you money, whatever, fame. As soon as you get out, you'll get off, whatever. And yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think, and that's why Donna is at the courtroom at the end when they get there, because she wants to make sure that Loretta's going to stand up to her side of the deal.
Crazy.
Is that too much, or did I just nail it spot on? And that's 100% exactly what's going to happen in this episode.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's what I expect is gonna happen. But then if it happens to be not Cliff, not Don, I'd be like, oh shit.
But yeah, I 100% think Loretta confessing for Dickie would have been ridiculous because I don't think Dickie was getting arrested. I think the police were just talking to him. Oh yeah, we got that one wrong. AK actually nailed that one. AK was like, no, I don't think he was getting arrested because they weren't taking him in handcuffs. So, and they weren't. When you go back and watch it, he was just walking out with them. So I think they had gotten some new information that they wanted to talk to him about his brother's death, and they were going to go talk about it. And yeah, Loretta saw that as a chance to confess, and that's what she did per the deal with Donna. Donna might think Cliff did it, just Loretta thought Dickie. Yeah, exactly. Donna might have thought Cliff did it, just like Loretta thought Dickie did it, and maybe she got her to confess for absolutely no reason at all because it was neither one of them who did it. But Donna, being a mom, not wanting her son, not taking any chances with her son getting hurt, just got Loretta to confess to something she didn't even need to confess to. I think he was getting arrested. He was already interviewed. He was already interviewed, but they came in and talked to him, and he stood up. They weren't when Loretta confessed, they put her in handcuffs immediately. So why didn't, if they thought Dickie did it and he was being arrested for it, why wouldn't they have put him in handcuffs immediately? That doesn't make sense. I think they were just going to talk to him about something. If they thought he did it or they had new information that thought he did it, they would have had him in handcuffs. They wouldn't have just been walking him out like that, letting him grab his bag that could have had weapons or guns in it and just walk out like that. No, they would have taken that and put him in handcuffs and walked him out. So I don't think they were arresting Dickie right there. But again, who is Dickie always on his phone to? Like, he is forever, like every time we see him, he is on his phone, like engrossed in it. What is he doing on that phone? Like OnlyFans or what?
Hey, first, well, one, he could be ordering some hookers. Two, talking to his lawyer.
All the time in every scene. I mean, he is forever in that phone.
Hey, if I had a rich like half brother, I would make sure I'm talking to my lawyers, making sure I get some money.
He's like, I'm gonna be in on it and watching it like a hawk. Oh man. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think that deal is going to happen with Donna and Loretta. We're going to see more of that conversation in the bathroom. We're going to find out Loretta was sick. She's going to explain she's sick, she's dying, she can't have her son going to jail. Leave. That's not the legacy. She can leave, and I'll give you all this money, or do whatever, or I'll leave money, whatever she needed to do to talk Loretta into taking the rap. Like, we'll do anything for our sons. But yeah, I asked before, and I still don't really understand, why did Dickie need to call his lawyer the second the trio told him that they thought their murderer was still on the loose? That is just so weird to me.
Because whenever the police were going to talk to him before, he pretty much sure he needed a lawyer. So now that they know that the murder is still in large, he's like, oh shit, let me quickly get my lawyer before they come see me.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I think there's more to it than that. This just seems so wild to me. Like, there's oh no, you think the murder's still on the loose? I better go call my lawyer. Like, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe because he was a suspect. Maybe that's why, but I don't know. It just feels like there's something more about that. And then Howard tells the door being locked. Howard tells that door being locked story, which I thought was odd all the time, very monotoned and verbatim, almost as if it's rehearsed, the same way you would do with a major lie. And we've already established he's a liar. I've heard him tell that story in the exact same way 3 different times now. which almost makes me think it's like I said, it's rehearsed and it's lying. He's lying about it. So what if Howard really ends up being this murderer?
Nah, the great Howard Francis.
Moses is going down. He is the murderer.
Nah, we need a spinoff of Howard. I know him being a murderer and being locked up.
So locked up.
Don't let me out.
So I'm thinking Cliff is the third triplet. Donna and Loretta are around the same age. Both of them have been in theater for a long time. It was probably the same creeper director that got them both pregnant and didn't stick around. Either that or we find out Oliver and Donna hooked up years ago and Cliff is Oliver's son that she never told him about. That's why he's so over the top with everything. He just has that extra Putnam flair running through his blood. Like, that's why she backed his play in the first place. She's dying, that puking in the bathroom. And so she wants to unite these two before she's actually gone. How crazy would that be? I know I put that in one of our chats a while back. That'd be kind of wild if that ends up being true.
That she slept with Howard and that's the child. Oh my gosh.
Cliff is actually Oliver's son.
The true heir to the Putnam.
He's Putnam. And that would be the sick twist because Putnam thought old boy was his son, but he's not. Actually, his real son is Cliff. He does have a real son, and it's Cliff. And that's why he's so into the theater, and that's why he's just so extra and over the top, because he's got that Putnam blood. That would be wild.
Whole time just having his son kiss his mom's.
Tragic. Celebrity Bikini has a good point, though. Like, how did Tobert's hard drive get back to Ben's apartment? Like, we saw Ben steal his camera and take it into the room, and then it would have been he left it in his dressing room, and then he ended up dying on stage and getting wheeled out. So, how did Tobert get the hard drive? Or how did the hard drive get back to Ben's apartment for Tobert to go take it from there?
I mean, he's always like in that apartment because he's like the director, so maybe just casually left it or something.
Maybe the hard drive was. I think he wanted that hard. I think what Celebrity Bikini is saying is that hard drive was attached to the camera and would have some incriminating evidence on it. So that's why he wanted to get it, so nobody else could see that incriminating evidence. But if it was in the camera would have been left in Ben's dressing room. So how would it have gotten back to Ben's apartment?
Drawing a blank.
He's like, that's a tough one. Like, that is. I mean, Dickie didn't grab a lot of the other stuff out of the room. When they went in there was still the dead flowers and a bunch of other stuff. It was almost like Ben's dressing room had not been touched. So again, how would that hard drive have made it to the camera back into Ben's apartment? Or maybe that's just what he pulled up. He said, I found it. And maybe that's not what he was looking for. Maybe he already had that because he already went back to the dressing room to grab the camera. Maybe it was something else he was looking for the whole time. But I don't know. That'd be another little twist too far. This is only a half-hour show. And the only hard drive, why would he want the camera too? I think he already had the camera. Like I said, the camera was left in the dressing room. So he probably already went
I would take that camera too. I don't know how much those cameras cost.
Right? So yeah, I'm sure he already went back to the dressing room to grab the camera and then realized the hard drive wasn't in it. So he needed to go back to the apartment and get the hard drive. So obviously maybe Dickie got the hard drive and was trying to get it to stop evidence from getting out. Who knows? Why is Dickie out there buying up Ben's bloody handkerchiefs? And when Kimber said that she sold her handkerchief for a couple $100, did Dickie buy that one too?
Yeah, Dickie brought it.
So you think Dickie? So why is Dickie out there buying up all these handkerchiefs?
That's like the last thing in like Memento of his like brother before he died. Plus, for me, I still feel he's just guilty because I still think that he's the one who poisoned the cookie.
You think Cliff is?
No, I think Dickie poisoned the cookie.
Oh, I mean,
Cliff
Dickie
pushed him.
So you think Dickie poisoned the cookie and Cliff pushed him?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find out there was no murder. It was all an accident. like I said, Mabel gave birth to a podcast. They're pushing all these things to make it look like a murder, but there's no murder. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Ben's death was an accident. I think the hanky he grabbed onto on the way down was Tobert's, who just kept recording instead of reaching out to save him. And that's why he wants that hard drive, because he does have him filming it. And that would show him as almost an accessory. Like he filmed a murder instead of helping him. So that would make him look bad. He doesn't want that getting out. But just like the baby elephant, like that's why he went to Ben's apartment, probably went back and stashed the film footage there, because it was probably him that took that film footage to the apartment to stash it there, just in case the police wanted to check his recordings, and he'd be like, oh, here's my camera, but that's all there is. He didn't want the police getting those recordings, so he's the one who stashed it up there. That's how they got there, and then he was going back up there to get them. Because he pretty much knew right where to go. He wasn't like searching all over. Like he went right to the room. Like he pretty much knew right where it was. So he's probably actually the one who stashed it there, just because he didn't want that getting out, because it's all going to be part of his new movie that he's putting out to make millions. The death of a movie star. Oh, is that what happened?
Death of a movie star. Yeah, it actually would make more money, because a little documentary on that play that was trash, as opposed to a documentary of the death of a movie star.
Celebrity Bikini thinks he might have been looking for something else up there and wanted to show that quick cookie scene to throw off Mabel. Maybe there was something else or some more incriminating evidence that he was actually looking for, and that was all just another Norwegian red herring. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's what happened. I think Tobert recorded it all. Whether it was, I don't think it was a death. It could have been a death. Maybe somebody pushed him, but he was probably arguing with somebody. That door opened. I mean, we could find out that it was Lester, the doorman, and Uma that did it, because they want him out of that apartment because they have plans for that new suite up there, and they didn't want him in it. Nobody likes this guy. He's an ass, and they don't want people like that living in the Arconia. So they wanted him out. Lester and Uma did it, and that's what it's going to be. Bada boom, bada bing. It was Cliff who poisoned the cookies, so that's our triplets. It was Cliff who poisoned the cookies, and it was Uma and Lester that murdered them. Bada boom, bada bing. Oh, who are your three? You said it's three murderers. Let's nail down the three before they show us tonight. Who are the three murderers?
Tobert, Dickie. I'm on Tobert, Dickie, and one person where there's going to be this mind fuck. Like, oh my God. You did it again, Riders. You did it again.
You got me. Got him. Oh, I think what if the triplets are
the Twitter triplets did it.
Pick what triplets? What if the triplets are Ben, Dickie, and Tobert? And Tobert's actually one of the triplets.
Oh, I like that. Tobert's like one of them this whole time.
Yeah, because we didn't. I mean, we never saw him. We didn't. She may have had twins. We don't even know.
Hey, it could be another sibling, because the only thing we know of is that they couldn't have a child. They got whatchamacallit.
Pregnant. Yeah, they adopted Dickie. Then all of a sudden they got pregnant. They
Yeah,
never said
so
that they weren't able to get pregnant again.
I know. So that's like up in the air there.
And Tobert's younger than he's probably.
Oh my God, that other the actor. Because remember he was mentioning to the detective like he had like family issues. What if the whole time it's actually him?
Bobo?
Yeah.
Bobo's the other brother?
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Those are my three now. Haha. The
So
one you least expected, because he was mentioning it. And the detective's like, I don't want to hear it, as if it was probably unrelated. Well, no, it is related.
It's all really, we know everything. They don't just put throwaway lines in here. So Bobo's the other brother, and the dick pics, because we already see Ben's not really that type. Like when he's talking about hanging out with whores, he's in sewing circles. And then the only other dick pics that we hear about being on the internet are Bobo's. So when Dickie's talking about having to clean up dick pics, he wasn't cleaning up Ben's dick pics. He was cleaning up Bobo's.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Bobo got the job, because he's brothers with Ben. And that's when Ben said, I take care of my brother and my mom, he wasn't talking about brother Dickie. Dickie always takes care of him. The brother and his mom that he was taking care of, were his mom and brother Bobo.
Yep.
How wild would that be? Hey, what's up, Maximus? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, nobody knows who did it, but we might be closing in on something here. Bobo's the third triplet brother. He's the one with the dick pics that Dickie always had to clean up. Dickie, Ben, and Bobo were the brothers. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. But it could be Tobert. Tobert could be the other brother, and he's the one who's basically Ben's helping support, and that's why he's hiring to do this. And he came in, he's like, let's get some background pics. He's like, I'm not your zoo animal. And he's like, I'm just doing what you hired me to do. He hired him because he takes care of him. So that would be kind of wild. So the triplets are either Tobert, Dickie, and Ben, or Ben, Dickie, and Cliff. That would be wild. What if, or Bobo? But what if Cliff's another one? What if Cliff is one of the triplets? And basically she ended up adopting one of them. That would be tough though. How would Donna and Cliff, like Cliff is Donna's adopted son, and actually Loretta had another baby later and gave that one up for adoption as well. I mean, it could be, but that's starting to get a little too crazy.
It's becoming a soap opera.
Yeah, it's already there. But yeah, I mean, Loretta could have gotten pregnant again and gave that one up for adoption too. And then we find out that's the reason why Donna was able to talk Loretta into taking the rap. She's like, I helped you out, and I took care of your son, and this is your, I raised him, but this is your son, and you need to take the rap for him. So they're making it look like she's taking the rap for Dickie, who she thinks her son, but her other son is Cliff, and she knows that Cliff actually did do it, and she needs to take the rap for Cliff so Cliff doesn't go down, because she needs to be a real mother and do this for her actual son. That'd be crazy. What do you know about that?
That is crazy.
That would be so wild. I'm telling you, they're 100%. I am 100%. We are going to get a longer conversation in the bathroom between Donna and Loretta, and some things are going to come out. And I'm telling you, Donna talked Loretta into taking the rap. And that would be a reason. That would be a reason why. Because she's not going to take the rap for money. That's no way she's doing this for money. So there has to be some other tie-in, and that would be the ultimate tie-in. She got pregnant. She gave it up for adoption. They gave that baby to Donna because basically maybe Donna had a miscarriage at that time, and the timing just worked out. Now she said, I'll raise him, and that's why she was able to breastfeed till he was 8, because she had a baby too, but didn't have it any. Craziness. It would be wild. It would be wild. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? Tobert had the recordings, and that's why he's the one that stashed it back up in Ben's apartment. And that's what he was doing, going back up there to grab it. He obviously had a key because he was able to let Mabel in, so he would have been able to get up there to stash those recordings. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he had to go get those recordings for a reason.
That would be wild, man. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it. It's like, 2.5 hours away from breaking out?
Yeah, I was gonna take a nap right after this, but nope. I gotta watch it. Maybe I could be like, oh my God, DJ.
He called it. Oh man, so you're going with the 3 guys? Oh man,
if Bobo really did, I'd be like, yes, finally.
Dude,
got one.
That would be the sickest call of all time. That would be the sickest call of all time. And we broke it down. I mean, it makes sense, like how it could be. Like I said, why is Bobo in there having therapy sessions with the police talking about, the family problems? Oh, and like I said, the only other dick pics we ever heard about were Bobo's dick pics getting on the internet. So maybe that's how he cleaned it up, or maybe that's who he was always cleaning it up for, was Bobo, not Ben. They just put the twist on us. Oh, that'll be wild, and that'll be the triplets. Bobo, Ben, and Dickie. I love it. I love it. Oh, what if Tobert was blackmailing Ben? What if Tobert was blackmailing Ben? That's what the call at the party was about. They got in a struggle at the door. Tobert murdered Ben. That could be. We might see it, but I don't know. Too many people think Tobert's the murderer for him to be the murderer, I think. If that many people are on to him being the killer, I don't think he can be. Oh, it's late for you, bro. Yeah, we got to get going. But man, that was awesome. I'm glad you guys came out. Hopefully, you guys had a little fun and we're able to figure it out. And one of these actual crazy theories comes true. We will be doing the celebration dance on the next one. So we'll be here talking about the finale tomorrow. I hope everybody out there has an absolutely fantastic night, man, and have fun watching the show. Be easy.
Uma didn't do it.